Over in the pages of DarkXMen, Madelyne Pryor and her team of misfit heroes are currently trying to fight back against the awesome power of the anti-mutant group known as Orcus. Madelyne has already suffered some heavy losses with the near death of Havok Alex Summers, as well as the manipulation of Archangel. Now it's time for our heroes to see if they can put a stop to Archangel and reunite with the fascinating character of Marisol. My name is Arako Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and explore the third issue of Marvel Comics' Dark X-Men. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the like button over on our video. Fear the Fallen, as Gambit tries to save his unruly half of the squad from a watery grave. Madelyne Pryor and Havok confront their nightmares on the other side of the world, leaving Carmen Cruz all alone aside from the bloodthirsty beast stalking her in the shadows. Dark X-Men issue 3 is written by Steve Foxe, featuring artwork from Jonas Scharf. We have colors from Frank Martin, letters from VC's Clayton Cowles, and design over from Tom Muller and Jay Bowen. In addition, I want to go ahead and show off the cover coming in directly from Steven Segovia and Rachelle Rosenberg. Really like this look at characters like Faint, Madelyne Pryor, Havok, and Albert fighting back against one of the Banff dragons that we can see late within this issue of Dark X-Men. And I want to extend a quick thank you to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting the cover and preview to this series so fast here. Really appreciate this opening page coming in over from Jonas Scharf. Some of the dark panel borders I think really set the mood of Dark X-Men incredibly well here. I thought this scene with M-Plate that recalls his history over with the mutants was so sinister, and found that Steve Foxe's narration really got so much subtlety out of this scene here. I also really loved how this first panel that we have up on the page references some of the mutants over from Immortal X-Men, with characters like Selene and Exodus featured here. Really think this is an important X-Men comic book if you're a fan of the entire line right now. Elsewhere was also pretty intriguing here to learn about M-Plate's relationship with Azazel just from all these context clues. This issue of Dark X-Men really gave me a strong appreciation for all of the prose that Steve Foxe wrote across this chapter as well. And the way this scene with M-Plate transitions into the modern day, kind of showing half of our team of X-Men going up against Archangel, is an absolute blast to check out over on the screen here. Really think that Jonas Scharf just does an excellent job pacing some of these elements to make this fight over with the Dark X-Men and Archangel just feel so impactful over on the page here. Also love some of the expressions that Jonas Scharf manages to capture for mutants like Gambit over in this series. It always feels like Gambit has a level of grit that he's portraying in so many of his expressions across the book. I also thought this final panel with the use of negative space from Jonas Scharf was a great way to introduce the credits page and build up some momentum across the issue here. On our preview, the next page actually picks up immediately after the credits and shows the second half of where the Dark X-Men are currently experiencing here. I thought this page that we have up on the screen is pretty fascinating too, as the mysterious character of Marisol seemingly uses vegetation to put some of our Dark X-Men protagonists to sleep over in the comic. I think Steve Foxe manages to use these moments for just some great story scenarios over for Madelyne Pryor. Really getting to see Madelyne face off against some of her nightmares in all these contexts and show just how used to things that go bump in the night are really, really fascinating over in the context of Dark X-Men. I also thought that some of the cutaways over to characters like Kenji Ueda were so fascinating, and really thought that Steve Foxe really experiments with the form and nature of comic books across the pages of Dark X-Men issue 3 in particular here. I'm really glad that Steve Foxe was able to get some really fun story scenarios out of this strange combination with Zero and Albert. Plus, some of the Banff dragons that show up later in the issue carry this really ominous physical presence that makes Dark X-Men 3 feel like it has some really big stakes over in the chapter. I was also really interested in the conversations between Faint and Marisol. The fact that Steve Foxe keeps finding all these interesting uses of characterization over for Carmen across some of these Dark X-Men series, I think have been fascinating so far. I also thought that the final panel in the issue, teasing a really interesting story scenario over for the main Amazing Spider Man franchise, is going to be a lot of fun. I've really been interested with how these Spider Man and X Men comics have started to connect with each other. And in Marvel's main Amazing Spider Man series, there's also some more connective tissue over with Limbo, as well as an appearance from Madelyne Pryor herself. Really encourage you to check out this super fun issue exploring some other sides of Limbo that Dark X-Men didn't have a chance to get to this week. So at the end of the day here, I just thought this was a tremendous chapter of Dark X-Men that really does a great job capitalizing on all these elements of characterization for both Havok and Madelyne Pryor here. The extended cast of Dark X-Men was utilized incredibly well over in this saga. Really, that opening page with M-Plate covered so many fascinating explorations of his character. I also continue to feel closer to individuals like Faint as Dark X-Men continues to get deeper into the runtime. I was really fascinated with the final moments for Archangel in this series. I'm wondering if he's going to return in some future chapters or where we can expect to see him next. Also, the Orcus agents of Krull and Valance made a very small, a very minor appearance over in this chapter. I'm hoping that we'll get to see a lot more of them along with the twisted version of Madelyne Pryor over in the next issue of Dark X-Men. I want to know from you, did you enjoy this series as much as I did? What did you think about this particular chapter? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming to check out our video review over on Dark X-Men issue 3, and we'll be back to cover this series and wherever Madelyne Pryor is headed next in the Marvel Universe. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.